All right. Well, guys, today I'm out in the backyard and I have a bunch of oil changes to do. One's a customer and I have a couple I need to do on my own. One of them is just routine maintenance. One of them I'm going to work on later, tearing the engine down, so I'm going to go ahead and drain the oil. And then I have a customer with the riding mower. And it'd be no big deal, but in this case it looks like, well, you know, each time, usually when I'm changing the oil, I drain it out of the bottom, or I tilt the mower over and all that good stuff. Well, this time I'm using tubes, oil drain tubes on everything, and one of them has a pump on it. But well, let's get started. Yeah, so I guess we'll get started with this one. You can see this is a Troy built, what is it, TB, yeah, 30R. So it has a 30-inch cut. It's one of those riding mowers where you can get into tight spots through gates and stuff like that. And this guy loves his riding mower. And so he wanted me to change the oil for him. Yeah, it needs it. It's a little dark, but at least it's full, right? So no biggie there. You can see some water that had pooled up. It rained last night, unexpectedly, but anyway, so we got that going on. And with this, instead of let me show you. So down here, can you see that? Yeah, the plug right down here. A lot of guys just automatically take that off and let the oil drain out, but it's just draining on that flat piece of the frame or the engine plate, mounting plate, and it just makes a god-awful mess, right? And there's no drain clearance or anything like that. So with these, that's when I use these tubes with a little hand pump on it. And they work pretty good. You can get most of the oil out of it. And these things are fairly cheap. You find them at Harbor Freight, and I'm sure on Amazon. I'll include a link to it. But this, you just snake the hose down in and pump it out. Let me get everything ready here. And with this, you can see my oil drain. I don't even have to lay it flat. I just open it up and stick the output down there. And let's fish this in. And sometimes it's hard to get all the way down to the bottom just because of the diameter of the tube. But they usually come with adapters where you can get a smaller amount of tube in it. And I can feel it. I don't know if you can see that coming out. I'm trying to do this without making a mess. There you go. Can you see it? It's just about gone. I'm just trying to get every little drop that I can. Let's get that out. Let's get this one out. And this, I always have a little pan that I put it in and let everything dribble out. So you see this one's it's a push mower, well, self-propelled, has a 675 Briggs and Stratton. And now I could do the same thing. I could use the pump and pump it out, or a lot of times I just tilt the whole mower over, because while it's draining, while it's 90 degrees over, I can inspect the blades and all that stuff while I'm at it, right? So it comes in handy that way. And in this case, I'll use a tube, but this is actually, let's see if you can see that. You can see this tube is made to fit that spout. So So now when I turn it over, I have control over the spout instead of just letting it drain all over the place, right? So let's do that. Let's turn it over. There we go. Let me see it. That oil's kind of thick. I wouldn't be surprised if that was 10W40. Yeah, this one would have been good to have warmed it up a little bit. That is some thick oil. Yeah, so there you can see it. Just dribbling out of there. Look how thick that oil is. But now it's not draining out of the top. I'm not going to get any on the mower deck, anything like that. And in some cases I could probably stick this down into a different canister also, but that works pretty good. So now while it's on the side, then I can take a look at the blades. And yes, this one has a bunch of dents in it, so I'll be taking the blade off while it's in this position and sharpen it up real quick. Yeah, these things come in handy. And now you can see through the clear tube, you can see that when the majority of it stops flowing in there, right? And yeah, it's almost done. Yeah, so this one I'm not going to refill because I'm going to be tearing down this engine. And there we go. You can see it's gasket sealed in there, so it doesn't leak out. Alright, this one I put a slightly more shallow pan under here, because I know when this tilts it has a little more clearance. But you can see this is a Honda. This is a Honda HRX 217 that you've probably seen in another video. And this one, you can see it's fairly dark. And this is my personal mower now, so this is just out of just routine maintenance for me. And this plug is made specifically for these Hondas. There we go. And let's tilt it. There we go. Can you see that? I'll readjust the camera here. Yeah. So you can see that one's just resting all in there. But it is coming out freely. Without making a mess.
see that down there? I'll tilt it back. You can see no leaks. And I'll let it sit there. Get it all out. In the meantime, again, that's when I usually check the blades. And this one I know I had checked earlier before, because I had just recently used this, and it is cutting like a charm. I like that dual blade system. It just cuts your yard like carpet. What little yard I have. But I think the only one I've ever seen, it was on the Hondas and on the electric Egos now. On the Ego, they have a dual blade system like that, and it cuts very well. But let's let that drain a little more, and we'll get it cleaned up. All right, I think that got it all, most of it. Let's unscrew it. Yeah, not bad. Again, it's gasket sealed to keep it from all leaking out. And I believe we're ready to fill her back up. Yeah, so these oil drain tubes and the pump, they come in pretty handy. The pump you can find, like I said, Harbor Freight. I think that's where I got this one at. It's Harbor Freight. You can find it on Amazon also. And if I find a link, I will put it in there. And probably Tractor Supply also. But this is pretty handy. These tubes, you can see this one, it was made for the Honda with the spout on it. But I also have one for the Honda without the spout. You know, the one that just goes, it's right at the base of the motor, of the oil pan there. And so there's two different ones for the Hondas, and the Briggs and Stratton also. There's the Honda, this one's the Briggs and Stratton. This one fits, like the EX series, the 6.0, the 600, 625, 650, 675, and 725s with those spouts on it like that. Those fit right on. And for the Briggs and Stratton without the spout, say the 500Es, 550E, stuff like that, the smaller engines that, you know, once again, without the spout, just at the base, that's a separate one. And I have one for the Kohler engines now, the XT, what is it, the XT 625, 650, 675. And I have one to fit those also. And you can find these, actually you can find them on my website right now. I make these, I've been working on them for quite a long time. And they're just working flawlessly now. I 3D print these and put them all together, and they're working like a charm, right? So be sure to take a look at their website, and I'm sure pretty soon it'll probably be on Amazon with a lot of my other stuff. This is part of the collection of my of the products that I'm designing and entering the market with. So I have more coming, but for now, take a look at the tubes. They actually work pretty good. You can see how not a bit of mess was made changing the oil this time. So I guess that is it. I'll include links to everything, and as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and watch for my next video. Where is she going? Just running around in circles. Did you have a burst of energy there? Eh? Yeah. Still teething, always trying to gnaw on my hand. Here, chew on that.